You have to become a children and read it once again, get suggestions, and make it as simple as possible. That's what she wanted, and that's the most difficult job, she said. So,
Yeah.
writing for 10-year-old is an easy job, but then writing for a 5-year-old is something that's very difficult because you have to make sure what you put into it, what words you use, what sentence you use, and it took a lot of time to get hold of it and make sure you remove everything, because now in the course we've been writing a lot. We wrote articles and we wrote essays and we wrote different stuffs, but when you go back and write something very simple, avoiding everything,
Yeah.
it's like a new start.
Hello. We welcome you to this conversation that we're going to have with Shruti, one of our MA Creative Writing students. It's a very proud moment for us because Shruti has just come back from her internship at Amar Chitra Katha. And this being the first batch of the creative writing, we are so glad that we had students like Shruti who could, take advantage of this very rich experiences that these very high quality internships could offer. And we thought we'll just go over to get a flavor of what your experience was, and give people a sense of the possibilities that are opened up in this kind of a program, right? With all its limitations and all its other advantages put together. So maybe I'll start with the the issue that you were saying, which is we'll start from the left field rather than go on and on about how great your internship was. One of the grows you had is that when you start an internship in a creative field, how much of agency you're given in the very beginning, meaning how much of a central role you can play. So, and how much of other peripheral, secondary, back-end work you have to do in order to earn your stripes, which is what you were telling me just before we started. Maybe if you could tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, so as we all know, Amar Chitra Katha, it has like 50 plus years of, the legacy going behind.
Yeah.
And it started with mythology and now it has gone into like fantasy and stuff like that as well. So mythology being the primary thing of Amar Chitra Katha, we need to do a lot of, the back-end work, because now...
And what does that mean, back-end work?
So now, I mean, a lot of comics, as you said, like manga and different things, children have started like, going behind it. So Amar Chitra Katha now, sticking to this mythology thing, it takes a lot of effort to, catch the eye of this audience, especially of this generation. So when you have to make sure that you satisfy this generation children, but at the same time make sure you keep the legacy and keep the journey continuing, you have to take a lot of effort at this time, I believe. And for that, to pitch to the bookstores and to pitch to a lot of online stores, you have to write like 2-liners, 3-liners about the entire book, give a sense of why it is important for this generation children to go back and know the mythology. So there's a lot of work going behind to popularize and to publish such kind of books. So when I went initially, they gave me a lot of background research work about each and every story, for instance, I did like a detailed research about Hanuman and Hanuman stories. So it started with that, and then it went to different types of temples in India, and then it went on to gods and the relations between temples. So it went on a lot of background work, and then after doing a lot of research, I had to like write all those pitches which you have to produce, a short plot about the book that you have to pitch to the bookstore. And after that, I got into writing about the book actually, and writing stories and the comic dialogues and stuff like that. So it started with the research and the back-end work, and then it went on to the stories.
Yeah. In fact, when you talk about pitches, usually that is something that we would imagine our MBA students would do.
Yeah.
But I have often said that if there is anything that teaches you the art of marketing, in a most substantive way, it is the art of crafting narratives, because after all, we capture the imagination of consumers through stories. And in creative writing, we are obviously just learning how to craft stories, right? So I think it's an interesting insight for us, because it is only, I would say, I would like to radically argue that over and above folks from MBA, it is people who are steeped in the craft of writing. They will be the best place to come up with these pitches, right? So it would organically strike them what the concerns are, right? So and I seriously suspect if any marketing course would give you that kind of orientation. Which kind of brings me to talking about courses. The next question is, one of the things I've liked, Shruti, is that from the very beginning, and I remember this from the first course we did, which, exploring an author, where you were exploring the children's stories of Sudha,
Ruskin Bond.
of Ruskin Bond, sorry. If you could tell us how you always had this clarity about this niche area you were interested in, because this is something like a thread you have pursued over the whole year, and it was such a fitting culmination that you landed this internship in Amar Chitrakatha. So if you could talk about very briefly capture that journey where you had this interest in children's writing, you pursued it through the courses, and then finally this Amar Chitrakatha happened. So how did that happen? So
I grew up reading Tinkle. I've always read Tinkle, and I have like a lot of children around me. I grew up with children. I have like 30 plus cousins with me. So I grew up like telling stories for them and everything. So children's stories, it has been my world, and it was my world. So I write stories for them. I just like narrate different kinds of stories, and it started off with that. And when I selected creative writing and wanted to explore Ruskin Bond more, because I read him a lot, and I understood there are like Amar Chitrakatha and Ruskin Bond again are like different ends, right? So when I went to explore Ruskin Bond, and then when I jumped into Amar Chitrakatha suddenly, it was like a very different thing, because again, mythology and fantasy, and you have to do a lot of back-end research and all to get into the aspect. And the main thing that I understood after going here and having a brief conversation with Reena ma'am is writing for children is not an easy job. So when she asked me what you really want to write, I told like maybe I'll start with 5-year-old. And then she was like, then you have to become a 5-year-old.
Maybe you can tell for the sake of the audience who is Reena ma'am and how you met her, the context, because that will make them understand how you got this internship.
So Reena ma'am is the chief editor of Amar Chitrakatha, and she was there in our opening, I guess, the inaugural program of undergraduation this year. So I met her in the program, and I had a brief conversation, because last year we had playwriting and script writing, and I wrote a play on mythology. So I sent her the document through mail. She read it and she really liked it. And she was like, I asked her if I could do an internship at Amar Chitrakatha, and she read my thing again. She gave me a few feedbacks, and she was like, we'd love to have you here. So that's how I met her, and that's how the journey started. And coming to the writing for children, and it was not an easy job. She was like, you have to become a 5-year-old, because right now we've started writing in a lot of things, like maybe articles or whatever, but when you go back and start writing for children, you have to become a children. What you find silly is what enchants them, because for children they need rhymes, they need fantasy, they need something that could catch their eye, make them enthusiastic. We might find them cringy, and we might find them like silly, but then that's what makes the children entertained and hooked up into the book. They want to read more. So when you write something and when you read it again, you have to make sure that it is for children. You have to become a children and read it once again, get suggestions, and make it as simple as possible. That's what she wanted, and that's the most difficult job, she said. So writing for 10-year-old is an easy job, but then writing for a 5-year-old is something that's very difficult, because you have to make sure what you put into it, what words you use, what sentence you use, and it took a lot of time to get hold of it and make sure you remove everything, because now in the course we've been writing a lot. We wrote articles and we wrote essays and we wrote different stuffs, but when you go back and write something very simple, avoiding everything, it's like a new start.
In fact, just to give people, if you could, a very quick flavor of what you mean writing for a 5-year-old, because before we started this conversation, you said that there's a distinction between stories for 7-year-olds versus 5-year-olds. And for me, that was itself a very hard thing to comprehend. So, you talked about how you have to eliminate certain things. Maybe you could give us an example, and we would understand how complex that process is a little bit.
So, 5-year-olds only start reading stories, right? So they start, getting to know about the world around at the age of 5. So at that time, I believe, she said, especially Reena ma'am said, it's like a new thing. You are inserting information into them, and that should be fresh. So she started with write only 2-syllable words, not more than that. So we are supposed to write only words that uses 2-syllable, because that's how you know, getting hang of the language, about the words you use, about the story. And the story should be like very simple. No complex situations, no hard events, no, you know, fights or no violence, nothing. It has to be very simple, very plain, just one message that has to be conveyed through. Because when you write a lot, when you put in a lot of information, the child will not be able to take it. He or she will not be able to follow the story in a whole. So when you write for a 5-year-old, he's getting to know the world. He's getting to know the world. So you have to make it very, very basic. Introduce them to good concepts like friendship, honesty. Tell them what the world is about. Only good things. Eliminate the negative things. Because let them start with a good feeling, right? So that's what she said when we started writing. And very simple words, don't use complex, and a lot of rhymes. Let them enjoy reading. And when they grew up, and when we write for 7 years old, start introducing vocabulary words like this instead of that, this. So let them get to know about new words. And 2 situations, let's all bring in negative characters as well. So with 5-year-old, there's only like positive characters, and when it comes to negative, there is a protagonist and there is an antagonist. And even at that time, there's no violence. There's only like, you know, a proper daily life situation going on. There's a lot of animals involved, because children love animals. So it's how you take a story forward, like an imaginary world. The children has to imagine. The child has to imagine the world around.
Yeah. In fact, you know, maybe one of the things that you've been telling me is that this whole idea of being part of this project, because very few people are able to acknowledge, because you told me how you've written something, and my first response was, are you going to be attributed direct credit for it? Now, I realize that that's a difficult process, because a comic is truly a work of a collective. There is an artist, a designer, you know, the storyteller. So can you give us a sense of how many players are involved in making a comic, you know, come out as a finished product? Maybe that's probably going to give people a sense of how much effort goes behind them, like the team of players.
Yes, especially when you write a comic for a company like Amar Chitra Katha, and when it involves like history and mythology, first it starts with research, basically a lot of background research. If the story is repeated already within the book itself, because 50 plus years, so there has to be some connection, right? So you have to go through a lot of research, even if it's repeated, how to make it new. So the research, it's the first part, and then it goes to the place where a person writes the story, the basic plot of the story, of it happens, how it goes on, how it travels, and if there's a need of change, like if the story is already there, how you can develop it, how you can change it, how you can make it relatable to this generation. So there's a person who starts with the story, makes the whole plot, and there's the person who develops the entire script, like doing the proper script. And even he or she can write the dialogues, or there's another person who specializes in writing dialogues. So that person converts the entire story into small dialogues.
So it's a person dedicated to that.
Completely dedicated to that. And after that, it goes to the illustration part. So before going to the illustration part, the main writer writes what has to be drawn. So if I am writing the story, I also wrote like a whole article on what has to be drawn. So if there's a plot here, I mean, if there's a page, what has to be drawn there?
Somebody has to write that.
Yeah, somebody has to write that. Mostly the writer writes, because he or she has a clear idea about how the story is, right? So he also has to write what has to be drawn there, the entire picture, the illustration part. Also, you have to imagine, like, he's going to throw a ball, he has to stand here. Very minute details, like the tree has to be there and the chair has to be there. So whatever is going to be there in the book, start from the end, it has to be written, and then it goes to the illustration part and the post-production and stuff like that. So it's like a complete process, and the main writer who writes the story takes in charge of the entire thing, starting from research to the illustration, and people work along with it.
And maybe we could end this conversation with you commenting a little bit on how comics could be made even more interesting than they are. Like, what do you think could be done? Because, I mean, and maybe, you know, your thoughts on this can be very nascent, because, you know, it's unfortunate that it's only Japanese manga which is really occupying the imagination of teens all over the world. Whereas India had so much culture and so many stories to offer, its own visual culture, so to speak. So, what could be, what could maybe an organization like Amar Chitra Katha or somebody else do to make these art forms more relevant and buzzworthy as they should be? So, what do you think could be done? Like, what is the missing piece?
So I don't know if it's the missing piece or not, but I had something like this kind of conversation with Riya ma'am already, because the play that I wrote in the last semester that involved mythology, so it was a real time play. It was a play about my hometown, but then I kind of complemented it and connected it with a real life situation, like how a group of friends goes and randomly finds a temple and then goes behind and looks at the history or mythology, and it kind of gave a connection between the contemporary time and the
Okay.
mythology. So I think that would be like a
Could be, yeah.
starting point.
Yeah, why not?
Maybe, yeah.
That's a good.
Why not combine both
yeah,
together?
meaning find a way for the present to connect.
Connect with
The past, if you like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially with
Yeah.
generation.
No, I think it's been a very compressed but a very intense experience for me to learn about all these things that that you had to learn and do. And I think we are very proud of the fact that you quickly adapted yourself to this very new setting. You rightly said that they mostly don't take interns. You observed who are students,
Yeah.
but they still managed to take you as one, and you adapted yourself to that context, and very very deftly maneuvered all the tasks and everything that came to you. So kudos to you for that. And like I think comics are very interesting for me, especially in our times, because there's so much of history, mythology, politics, culture that goes behind all these decisions, which at the end of the day are ironically meant for children, right?
Yeah.
So at the same time, there's so many choices which have so many implications. So to be part of that process in real time and look at that entire chain. I think you've been really privileged, and we too knowing these things from you. So yeah, thanks again for having this conversation with us. I hope the viewers get a sense of, like I've been saying, one of the things we've been trying again and again to say is that creative writing is not about, there's this misconception of creative writing as being limited to writing dry literary fiction sitting in a closed room, but creative writing is, for us at least, an entry point to the world of narrative, which is there everywhere, from comics to TV shows,
That's true.
everywhere, right? So in this relatively more popular medium, we get to see how much complexity there is. Thanks to you. So thanks
Thank you so
again.
much.
Yeah.